Hello and welcome back to SimCity, ladies and gentlemen. Today is part 18 of our SimCity 2013 Revisit series, where things, as I say, almost every time, are going pretty well. We're not making a whole heap of money from basic income down here, but that said, we're also not losing money, so things are going well in that regard. We currently have a rock concert happening at 8 p.m, which will hopefully get us about 200,000 simoleons. We don't have anything scheduled at the stadium. We'll do something in the stadium tomorrow. And of course, we currently have the Sci-Fi Casino, which is currently closed and therefore hiring, which is interesting. That's very interesting. I guess we probably need to get more residential residential zoning in here. So what I'll do is dezone those spaces there and bulldoze the buildings and put a little bit of residential zoning into those spots just there to get more people living there. We could do the same in here. But I want to put another casino in there. There isn't really anywhere else we can do that except for maybe here. If we go ahead and bulldoze those guys and put some residential buildings in that spot, I guess that is a thing we can do. We could put some residential buildings here as well, which I think I will do just for the sake of it. And I don't really think there's anywhere else I'm all that interested in putting them. So that will hopefully help things a little bit. This is still closed, that's very strange. That's very strange that that's closed. I'm not really sure. I mean, it's open again, but that was very, very strange. It's making some good money. Now, we are losing some money here, which is particularly interesting. It seems that we are generally losing money on the city specialization, which is, in fact, gambling, and that's dropping pretty quickly. So I can only assume that that is possibly because the Sci-Fi Casino was closed. But this money is climbing again, so I think we're going to be okay. Now, this is the one concern I have with Fort Ferguson. And that is that casinos are very dependent on making sure you have some serious tourism. I'm also noticing there is some significant residential demand in general, a fair bit of commercial demand. But I feel like I do need to do something about this residential demand, so let's figure this out. We have some bigger buildings popping up over here, which is great news. I think I want to invest a little bit in some things like this, some actual landmarks. Things like the Sydney Opera House, which is a bit too big. Things like Stockholm City Hall could go in here. Tokyo Tower is always an option. We have the Oslo Opera House. We have that. We have the Statue of Liberty. We have a few things we could put in here. We have the Washington Monument is always an option as well. It's quite cheap too. But I don't know. I mean, the Brandenburg Gate would fit in there quite nicely. But I'm not entirely sure. I mean, this thing will be useful as well. Now, this thing's good because this actually does give us 1,100 residents. It also raises medium wealth land value, and it would fit in there kind of nicely. So that is a thing I'm considering. It could go up there. It could go in there. But I think this is a pretty good spot for it, to be honest. In fact, there is a pretty good spot for it. My only concern is getting a casino in behind it, but I'm going to put it there because I think that is a pretty good spot for that building. And once it opens, hopefully we can go ahead and get a bunch of people in there. There we go. So that's going to give us a nice little boost. We have over 100,000 people in the city at the moment. This can be upgraded. And once we have 292,000 citizens, that'll upgrade again. So that may not happen. We'll see. The good news, however, is that we are now making some good money and we have some bigger buildings popping up on either side of this. So this is super important. Now, what is this talking about? Let's have a look. Your Honor, some of the city's youths are not enrolled in school. A neighboring city does have a high school that they can attend, though we just need some school bus stops. You know what, sir? I'll do it. I'll get some school bus stops. Let's see, what's up with power? We again have some unpowered buildings. I still don't know why. That's a little bit annoying, but we will deal with it. I wasn't aware however, that I needed to place school bus stops. I don't know why. I mean, it kind of makes sense that I would need to do that kind of thing, but I'll place a bunch of school bus stops around here, and we'll get ourselves a bunch of people attending school, which is obviously very, very important. So let's get just a bunch of them about there, and that seems to provide some pretty good coverage to get our Sims educated. There we go. So that'll be beautiful. That'll hopefully go ahead and... What's this? What is the actual goal here? Have 320 more students attend high schools in neighboring cities. So that is the thing that should end up happening. Now, we do have this event ending soon. It's not quite paying out as much as I would like, which is a bit disappointing, but it's still going to pay out a fair bit. What I'll go ahead and do is... Oh, the temptation to do this. I'm gonna spend 300,000 simoleons in an attempt to have this pay out well. Now, that is a risk. That is definitely a risk, but I want to take it. Apparently, we have a water shortage. That seems very strange to me because we shouldn't have a water shortage. Inactive clinic hospital, I assume because of water. That's so strange. I have to assume it's because there is only one way to get up here, and it is to follow this major road the whole way through the city, and I imagine that that's partly... I imagine that's part of the problem. It doesn't seem like that should be part of the problem, but it seems like it's part of the problem. And that annoys me. So, I guess what I could do is I could connect a road, not quite there, but I could connect one over there if I wanted to. I don't really want to, though. That's not really a place I think that should go. I could connect a road in there, but that just sort of bypasses this highway, which isn't really a good thing to do. I could potentially bring a road down like that. No, I couldn't. Or like that. I could do that if it wasn't right against an existing intersection. I could basically do that, which might go quicker. I don't know. I'm looking for potential ways to make this work. I mean, something like that would work if it wasn't going through some placed buildings, but even that's a little bit much. Something like that, if it wasn't too steep, would be fine. I mean, that is doable there, and it creates a very steep slope, but it also creates potentially a difficult situation for traffic moving through here. It's going to back up out of the city, and I really want to avoid traffic backing up out of the city, so that's the thing we're going to ignore. Now, looking at money, we're still doing okay. In terms of getting another casino, I would like the elegant casino. An elegant casino would be nice, but the sleek casino is affordable. Now, the downside is that the sleek casino isn't really going to fit central and isn't going to let me expand. The elegant casino, however, is kind of the same, interestingly. I could put the sleek casino at the side there and expand it that way, but this building here might have to go. Which is a shame, because I like it, but I feel like getting rid of that building and then putting the sleek casino in there is probably for the best. The elegant casino is a bit too much. Now, the problem is as well that... now that is a problem. Now, this casino, I can expand backwards, which I would want to do. This casino, I can only expand backwards by one tile, and I don't know if that's a thing I want. Now, that's concerning. That is very, very concerning. It seems there's a lot of homeless people up here. Is there reason to that? I don't know why they're necessarily homeless. There's just a lot of homeless people. Do we have more abandoned buildings? We do, that one. Do we have more? No, just that one. Okay. So I do want to get another casino in here, but it seems like the elegant casino is going to be the one to go for. Now, in terms of you, this is just now starting to take attendees, which is fine, which is completely fine. Hopefully, that particular event is going to do well for us. High tourist demand for what? My transportation system can't actually handle the number of tourists. Okay. I'll figure that out in just a second. I'm trying to work this out, though. Like, do I go... I mean, sleek, if I offset it a little bit, it works. But technically, that's the same with this as well, isn't it? Oh, no, it's not. But I can expand it backwards and make it look nice. So I'm in an awkward situation. Let me pay off this bond so we can make a little bit more money. If I wanted to, I could take 2 more bonds and get this casino. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna gamble. I'm gonna take 2 bonds. I'm gonna get this casino. I'm gonna hope for the best. Boom. There we go. We are now in debt, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful. Can't even pay that one back. Even better. Okie dokie. I didn't think that through. This thing doesn't look like it's going to make me any money. Oy. Okay. We probably want more zoning. I'm going to put some residential zoning. I can't put it in there because I need to expand the casino. I may have made a mistake. Maybe we turn this off until after the event. Then we'll re-enable that casino after the event, because then we'll have money. That seems like a good idea. So this thing is... The thing worth keeping in mind here is that if people attend this event at all, we're okay. Because we spent 300,000 on this event, so that minus 240 is what we're losing on the event, but we are still making whatever it makes. So after this event, we do get some money back. I'm just hoping that it's maybe gonna end up being like 300,000. I just have my doubts considering the event starts in an hour and, well, it's maybe gonna be okay. We do need to get more high wealth tourists here. That's for sure. That is a thing that we need to focus on. I think the best way to do that is gonna be through... Why is this still... I honestly don't understand this. I don't understand why power is such an issue. It really makes no sense. And it's really strange. Let's get a slope there. And see if power can flow up that a little bit. Which in theory, it should be able to do. I don't know, it's really strange. It is really strange that power just has trouble getting into this area. Like, you're abandoned because of a fire, you're abandoned because you couldn't find work, couldn't find work. And it really only seems to be this area up here that's generally got homeless people. So I don't know, I'm really confused by this. This event, then, is not going to make me a profit. I am going to be losing money on it. Honestly, I think that might be down to the fact that there's maybe not enough people in the region. Or potentially it's just... I don't know. I really don't know. I am noticing we are having a pretty serious fire over here that the fire truck is having trouble getting to, but I think it's made it. Seems to have made it. No, the building's gone. Okay, this building's also on fire, as is this. No, never mind. It was on fire. Not anymore. So how's this going? This is going to pay me not really much. Which sucks, but these things happen. Let's schedule a rock concert for tomorrow. And let's open this casino. Let's open the casino. We have enough money to last. If this thing starts making money, we're going to be okay. I would like to look into expanding it, of course. With something like a sign, obviously. We're going to want a nice fancy sign just there. And then we have things like classy rooms. We have the penthouse suite. We have an exclusive club. We also have this. We also have the roulette house, which can actually go back here, which is very interesting. So I think getting some classy rooms is going to be a good bet. So getting a couple of those in the go. And then maybe, just maybe, we throw a roulette house just there. We could throw another one so we can get more high wealth gamblers, which I think I'll do. That was super expensive, wasn't it? Yeah, that was. Okay. So this thing's currently open. It has a few tourists popping in. It's slowly making money, so this thing needs to make over about 9,000 simoleons to be profitable. That's a scary number. That said, it does have the capacity for a lot of high wealth tourists. So if we can bring those tourists to the city, then I think we're okay. But it looks like I might have to turn this off for a little while. Especially since there's no lodging for high wealth tourists. I don't think there's lodging for high wealth tourists in the city at all, to be honest. So maybe I'm getting a little carried away. To be honest, I'm probably getting a little carried away. Let's turn this off until we have more high wealth tourists. That way we're still going to make money. So that thing's going to stay switched off. In terms of getting high wealth tourists, really that comes down to culture and things like Big Ben, which has the high tourist attraction. It's also small enough that I could totally put it in one of these spaces and make it look good, which is beautiful news. Things like the Eiffel Tower, things like a Dutch windmill even. It has medium tourist attraction. Now keep in mind, I can only get 3 of these. This building included. Now this building's still useful. I still kind of want this building. But I can only get 3 buildings like this at a time. So I do need to be very careful with what I decide to do. Now that building would look super cool in there. It's just a little bit... It would get rid of some industrial zoning, and we don't really have much of it here. Not that I necessarily think we need it, I just kind of want it. Now let me have a look at my bonds. I'm going to pay this one off, so I can make a little bit more money. And as for this thing, I mean, there are other buildings I can put in as well, such as the Empire State Building, but it's a little bit tall, so we'll probably not bother. The Globe Theater would be lovely to have in here. That's a high, it can also have profit, which is good. It has high tourist attraction, raises medium wealth land value, and it's not very big. That's kind of what I enjoy with the Globe Theater as well. It is an event, it's a venue, but it also just generally attracts tourists. Now, something I have just realized is that a ferry terminal could be interesting. Because it might potentially bring in tourists. I don't know if it actually will, but we have room for it, so I might as well. I mean, we put it there, we bring a road across here. I mean, it doesn't really hurt, I suppose. So if I just do something like that and that, that gives us a ferry terminal to play with. I can add other things to it. I could add like a cruise ship dock, which would be nice. Let's see, cruise ships can dock, bringing medium and high wealth tourists to the region. Now that is something we need. We absolutely need more tourists, especially high wealth tourists. So getting a cruise ship dock, definitely gonna need to do that. A lot of traffic flowing through here at the moment. Yeah, they're on the way to the Expo Center, which is gonna make a profit, which is beautiful news. And it looks like this one's going to do really well. Like, it's 3 hours from the event and we're at almost 100,000, so... It seems like the Expo Center is generally the way to go. 125,000 people living here, good lord. I assume a new tall building must have gone up recently. That's ridiculous. What's the population like in the rest of the region? That's my question. Workers, not workers, population. Is there just like a population tab? Population, 126,000, 50,000, 136,000. Now it's worth pointing out, that's 136,000 with 2 mega towers. This is 126,000 with none. I'm kind of proud of that. I'm kind of proud of that. That's quite a nice number. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to add this cruise ship dock. Just there. That way we can bring some tourists in via the ferry terminal, which I think will be super important to do. And as for this thing, it is going to be over 100,000. We might be getting about 200,000 from this event. There's a definite possibility, which would be absolutely amazing because that means I can take another risk with opening this. Now, once again, power is lacking in this area. I honestly don't understand why. I really don't. I just don't get it. Like, the government keeps closing from time to time because it doesn't have power. I just don't understand what the issue is with power. Like, is all this stuff just not connected properly? Is the game not designed to have power sort of run around like this? Because if it isn't, then I am just going to have to connect these. Like, that is a thing I will just have to do. Just connect there to, like, there. I don't want to. So there's something kind of super annoying about placing these roads. And it seems to be that to do it, either the road grade's going to be too steep, or I'm going to have to draw it through a placed building, which means I need to get rid of a building, which in this case is my garbage dump. So I kind of don't want to do that. I also kind of don't want to move my sewage treatment plant, although it's not doing a very good job, so maybe we could do that. Power is still a major issue, so, I mean, that needs fixed. So, I guess I'm just gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to move something. It's gonna be the sewage treatment plant, so we're gonna bulldoze it, and we're gonna hope for the best. I am gonna need to bulldoze, like, that entire section of road. And then we go like this. So from there, straight up to like there-ish. This better work. Now that, hold on, that does. All right. That's not a thing I wanted, but apparently it's a thing I need. So that is going to exist there, and I'm just going to have to grin and bear it. Oh boy. Okay. So let's get a sewage treatment plant in here. We can put it there, and I can expand it to the side as well, which is nice. In fact, it seems I can just put it there. Which is interesting, because that implies I didn't need to get rid of it in the... Didn't need to do that at all. Alright, so sewage treatment should be fine. That's hopefully... Yeah, so that's not providing power to that space. So hopefully we're not going to have these power shortage issues all the time. I'm also slightly aware of the fact that I don't have enough money to necessarily comfortably do another event. Although, did I schedule one for this? No. Let's schedule just something like motocross. Not too expensive and can get me a little bit of money. As for everything else, I mean... Oh boy, a lot of traffic wanting to go that way all of a sudden. A lot of traffic in this area. Quite a few big buildings, quite a few abandoned buildings as well. Annoyingly. No water, apparently, no power, building fires, good lord. This city's an interesting mess of things. Definitely seems like the no power thing is a major concern for people. Though we do have some bigger buildings coming up here, which is always nice to see. As for this, are those people... I'm assuming there's a boat there that I just can't see for some reason. I mean, there are 52 people waiting. There's like about 1,000 tourists per day, which is... Oh, there's a boat. Where's that going, though? Ferry terminal, I assume? Yeah, there it is. All right. That's kind of cool that we've got tourists coming in via that. If we have a look, I mean, we had 3,816 tourists yesterday. That's all? Really? That seems really low. That seems remarkably low. Why do we not have that many tourists? We're not even making that... Yeah, earnings are down across the board, really. But then we look at this and it's like plus 11,000. Where did that just come from? What on earth just happened? Why are we suddenly making 11,000? Oh, I'm so confused. I want to get this building in here. And I feel like this is a pretty good spot for it. Or even, to be honest, I feel like this is a pretty good spot for it. I'm a little wary that that is like the last bastion of industrial zoning. So I'll throw it in there. That seems like a good spot for it. So it can live right there, right along sort of the strip, which I've never looked at from this angle. That's beautiful. That is beautiful from this angle. I love it. All right. So that's pretty cool. We have that building there, which is not doing great and should give us a few, like 1,000 more people in the city. So we're not in a situation where we... Hold on a minute. I am still paying back bonds. Why did money... What is going on with this income, though? It fluctuates so much with tourism. It is ridiculous. It's kind of scary, too. Like, legitimately kind of scary, because it's like, hey, 1 minute you're doing plus 11,000, the next minute you're not at all. Now, this thing's going to pay out quite nicely, which is good. That's always a nice thing to see. What is power doing? Power, I assume, is sort of okay. Bit rough in that area, but that's fine. Sewage is apparently backed up. So let's get another one of those. Which was barely enough, actually. That's surprising. We're going to need another one. There are 40,000 Somalians, which is a lot of money. But we are going to need another one at some point. Sewage is sort of moving well at the moment, but very, very soon we are going to need... Oh no, that actually seems to be doing fine. Interesting. Garbage dump almost full. Kind of makes me think we might need another incinerator. Unfortunately, that's not a thing we can get because we don't have the space. Can I go to region and... I don't want to volunteer vehicles. I kind of want to take some. Now, there are 5 deaths per day. There's an inactive clinic because it doesn't have power. I don't understand this power thing. It's so strange, and I'm pretty sure a building just exploded somewhere. Or maybe not. It sounded like it. It sounded like something blew up. But I guess it didn't. Okay, that's fine. Let's see. Sewage is getting a little bit rough again. Money's doing all right. We're going to have about 100,000 come back off of this. About, well, it'll be 99,000 Somalians, almost exactly. Which is fine. I'm okay with that. This is now closed. This is still closed by me. Yeah, this thing was not doing well. Is there a way to see how many tourists, like, of each type we have? If I look at the tourism map, yeah, there is. So, there are actually a fair few. It looks like, yeah, they're going down here. So, I have a few high-wealth tourists. A few in there, for example. 200 high-wealth tourists. Hotel guests. So, it seems like it might also be a good idea to get more commercial zoning. Because that seems to be somewhere the tourists are spending a lot of time. There's an awful lot of low wealth. But it does look like we have a fair chunk of medium wealth as well. The problem is I don't really want medium wealth tourists. I kind of need the high wealth tourists. So what that tells me is I probably just want to get a shed load of money and get something like Big Ben. Or like an opera house. If I got something like the Globe Theatre, which I'm going to get. I'm going to get the Globe Theatre because I feel like that's a pretty good investment. We'll nab the Globe Theatre because that does bring in some tourists. And once that thing's open, I can put on some shows. Now, I do have one more landmark I can place here because this thing counts as one. And I kind of feel like Big Ben's the one I want to go for because I feel like I could get Big Ben in there and it would look kind of interesting. So, I feel like Big Ben is going to be worth saving up for. Well, I say Big Ben. Yeah, the game actually has it correct. Big Ben is the clock. I think specifically the bell atop the tower, which is actually called Elizabeth Tower. Yeah, that's I'm glad the game actually points that out. So I think what we'll do then is we are just going to sort of have to wait. I can schedule an event here. I can do a play. It'll cost 6,000. We'll do it. It's risky considering we do have an event already happening today at 8 PM, but 2 events certainly doesn't hurt. And hopefully we can make some good money off of those events as well. But, you know, there's always a risk. There's always a risk running 2 events, especially since we have run events at the Expo Center and the stadium at the same time before, so hopefully we don't have a repeat of that, because if we do, then we're just going to lose money somewhere. And again, look at this. Look at the income. It just fluctuates so much. That scares the bejesus out of me is what it does. Because it really is so risky, like policing. Oh, wow, that's... Yeah, we are now losing a fair bit of money. Why is that happening? It is just this. It is just gambling. I don't get it. I really don't. We are spending a lot on police. We are spending a lot on transportation, but we kind of need to. Why has gambling just sort of hit a rock bottom? Like, this thing's getting 35,000 per day, 56,000 per day. I guess neither of them are really full at the moment, are they? This one has no high wealth tourists at the moment. This isn't really full. I guess we just need more attractions. It probably doesn't help that a lot of the tourists are likely going to events at the moment. If I look at the tourism overlay, yeah, there's a lot of medium wealth tourists in there right now. There's a fair few in there. So it's possible that scheduling... Oh, is the game really that complicated though? I say complicated. It would make sense. You have a finite amount of tourists. If they're in one place, they're not in another, so... If all my medium wealth tourists are here, it kind of makes sense that I'm not making much elsewhere. Now, I'm noticing that there aren't really any... high wealth tourists at the moment. Which is really strange. There's none in the city in the slightest. And I don't know why. That's actually really, really weird. It looks like there might be a couple around here. But I just don't know. I'm actually really weirded out by this. The complete lack of high wealth tourists is concerning as hell, because it means that we're, you know, not making as much as we possibly could be. It does make me think that basically what we need to do is just get more draw for high wealth tourists. So something like Big Ben is going to be good because it has high tourist attraction. So we are just going to have to save up so much money. This thing is making a profit. This is making a profit. Now, both of them are making a profit. That's amazing news. That's exactly what I want them to do. This is looking all right. Oh, wow, that just dropped down again. Look at that. That's so strange. That really is so strange. I would love to pay off these bonds at the moment as well, but that's not really a thing I can currently do. Because to do that, I would put myself in a bit of a risky spot. So, don't really want to put myself at risk just yet. I'll do it eventually, but certainly not just right now. Now, as for you, this is, yeah, there's backed up pipes. Things are getting a little rough. This doesn't look like it's going to make too much more money. This looks like it's going to make a little bit. It's making a profit, which is the important bit. So as long as both of them make a profit, I don't really mind too much. And I actually would like to pay attention to the tourism map. Land value map. I guess getting some high wealth, like some high land value in here would be good as well. That's probably a thing worth doing. Because, I mean, it's difficult to tell if, like, what each, I mean, this is good for low wealth, good for high wealth. I guess this land value is pretty good in here. But what I really want to see is when these shows end at midnight, are we going to see a bunch of tourists leave the city or go to the casinos? Because if they leave the city, it's an issue. Oh, there's a bunch of high wealth tourists. Where did you all come from? Where did they just... What just... Oh, I'm so confused. I'm so confused. I feel like what I need to do is I need to go and get more high wealth people in my other cities. I feel like that's a thing that needs to happen. Now, there's a lot of medium wealth tourists roaming the streets right now. So many of them. I feel like shows are not the way to go. And that annoys me to say that, but I feel like shows maybe aren't the way to go. I feel like they draw people away from my casinos. Which is such a weird concept because shows always make so much money, but I just don't know. I think the problem as well is I don't think... Yeah, I do see the cars as well. So when there's tourists that are driving, I do actually see them. That's so interesting. Okay. 43 high wealth tourists in there. We have some hotel. We have a hotel. But we don't really have any over here. How do I encourage more hotels? That's another question I have. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to head over here. We're going to expand this thing because it's having trouble. We're going to expand it like so. That's going to help with the sewage. What we're going to do is head in here, get some plazas, and we're going to get a nice expensive plaza to increase land value in this area. We're going to get another one. And we're going to just see, well, actually, we'll go see if we can get something like formal, something a bit smaller would be nice. We'll plop it there to increase land value. We'll plop one. Can I get a slightly bigger one? I can. It just runs the risk of getting rid of some of the buildings I like to have around here. Let's see. What about you? Now, that can go in there. That increases land. There we go. That's some proper high wealth land right there. All right. What about this, the amphitheater? That seems like a good thing to have. But where can I put it? I could put it down there. Don't really want to do that. I could put it there. I'm going to put it there. More seriously high wealth land value, or high land value, not necessarily high wealth, but let's see. What about plazas? What do we got? We have this big old plaza, which I'm just going to throw in there. Again, some really good land value coming up there. Let's throw a plaza. Can I get one of these in here? No, I can get one of these over here, though. Which, again, increases that land value, which is what we're going for. Get a little park in there to increase that land value, too. We can get a little park in there. And I'd like to get a little one, slightly longer one. No. Another little one sort of there. Just working carefully to increase this land value. There we go. Can I get a little one in there? I guess those are small buildings. I might as well. Could go for a bigger one. Yeah, we'll go for a bigger park. There we go. All right. So my thinking is that, in theory, should help. We have a lot of fancy buildings going up. That has cost a lot of money. But my thinking is that, hopefully... I also realize money is going down a little bit. Because there are a lot of buildings getting renovated. So, we'll be alright once they get fully constructed. Isn't really much of a big deal at the moment. Once these buildings are constructed, we should be making some decent money. Just have to be super careful to not go completely bankrupt in the process. Let's take a risk and pay off this bond. Which, again, risky, but I think I can make it work. I'm fairly convinced I can make it work. These buildings are coming up real nicely. Let's have a look at tourism. Not currently any, No, there are a couple of high wealth tourists over there. Okay, we might be alright here. Couple of nice big buildings going up. We've got the petition to build the academy approved. Look at all of this development. Look at this. The city's beautiful. Still some budget problems, but I honestly think we'll be alright. I think it is mostly tied to these here. I think we'll be fine. I really believe we'll be fine. A lot of redevelopment. That is going to cause some issues for the budget because all the people that were paying their taxes are currently not living in the city because their building's getting redeveloped. I think we'll be alright. I hope we'll be alright. I sincerely hope we'll be alright. As these buildings come up, I mean, that budget's looking pretty dire. It is looking pretty dire. High taxes, we're leaving. You don't have high taxes though, do you? They're 11%. 11% is normal. Do wealthy people not like... I guess wealthy people maybe don't like high taxes because, you know, they, I guess in a sense, they pay, you know, a shed load of cash, but taxes are taxes. Like, everyone should pay their taxes. Oh, I don't want to get into a tax argument in a SimCity video. Like, everyone should pay the taxes. It's as simple as that. And people should always pay their fair share of taxes. I'd really like my Sims to pay their taxes, is what I'm getting at, okay? They're just not, currently. And it's particularly scary. Now, it is getting better, as we can see. Residential income is slowly getting better. I don't currently have any events scheduled for today. And I don't really want to schedule an event until I know I'm gonna have the money to do so. We are losing less and less, which is always good, but I would really appreciate it if these buildings would get finished. That's an interesting shape. That scaffolding's really interesting there. There we go. Oh, look at that building. That is beautiful, that building. And their hotel. That's a hotel as well. That's amazing. And that's a vacant business, apparently. Okay. Vacant business. Has it got a name yet? It's consultants. Okay. That's some condos. Okay. Having hotels in the city is really good news. That's a lodge. That's a hotel as well, I think. I think that might be a hotel. I guess it's a hotel. We got a mill going up over there. Money looks like it's pretty much recovered. I mean, the population took a bit of a hit as well, so I guess that kind of makes sense. I do want to have another look at tourism then. So, there are more hotel guests. There are more hotels, which is excellent news. I'm not noticing that many people walking around. I am noticing a few more high wealth vehicles though, which is great news. I suppose having high wealth hotels is gonna help with that. Giving my high wealth tourists somewhere to stay is obviously very important. Now, we are still losing money. That might be slightly tied to the gambling income. It's not held by industrial either. There isn't really much in the way of industrial demand, which doesn't help. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip the industrial zoning out of here. Just out of this bit. These people aren't going to be, you know, whoever ends up living in this space isn't going to be too happy about it. But we have like 2 industrial buildings at this point. So get rid of that. Get rid of that as well and do some residential in there. Just there, so we can get a nice big residential building. We can de-zone that space completely. There we go. We could maybe get a little bit of residential in here. Definitely a possibility. Nice big residential building popping up there. I'm probably going to have to take a bond to survive this current problem. Oh yeah, that just took a dip. That was gambling. Gambling just took a dip. All right. Take 100,000 simoleon loan and hope for the best. Because really, that's all I can do. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. I think I might need a city with more high wealth people in it. Not specifically this city, I just mean the city in general. Because we just are not making all that much money. It probably doesn't help that there are less low-wealth tourists going to the gambling houses. So, we have more medium and high-wealth tourists who want to go to places like the Roman Luck Casino and places like the Sci-Fi Casino. So, yeah, we probably need to cater to that a little bit. I'm curious... Yeah, the gambling budget's just dropped massively. There's almost nothing from industrial zoning either, so... I mean, getting rid of the industrial zoning and getting this guy in here was probably a fairly smart move. As for the rest of the space, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know what we're going to do. We kind of are out of space for Fort Ferguson. There really isn't anywhere else we can zone. We have taller buildings going up, but other than that, there's not much. I guess I could do a mega tower. Mega towers are an option, I suppose. Not that we necessarily have the space for that either. Which, I mean, like, you can clearly see, we don't have the space for a mega tower unless I clear out, like, in there and plop it in that space, which I could admittedly do. But it's a risk. And it's a risk that I don't know I want to take. So we'll see what happens with Fort Ferguson. We will totally see what happens. But for today, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to leave it there. So, thank you kind of for watching. This has been SimCity 2013 part... Ooh, I want to say 18. I know I said it at the beginning, but I've completely forgotten. I want to say 18. I think I'm right. And I'll see you next time. We'll see if we can recover. We'll see if Fort Ferguson comes out the other side. Hopefully, it does. Bye-bye.